You're okay? Hello, David.
Hi, Aris.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. So I want to introduce David, and he's not the victim injury patient himself. Actually, it's his wife. And I felt very sad for his story because I'm a musician, so music is like my life. And having his wife lost her hearing. Okay, so I will let him share the story himself. Okay, so yeah, so thank you, David, for coming on board, and I will pin you now so that you can you will be able to see you more clearly. Okay, so go ahead, David. Feel free to share your story.
Yeah, good evening to everybody. Thanks, Aris, for having me. Yeah, I'd like to share the story of my wife case of losing her hearing suddenly. She's a 56 years old, early childhood teacher, healthy, right? No underlying medical condition. Took the Visal vaccine on the 27th of April. All right, and is due to take her second jab on the 15th of May. Unfortunately, on the 12th of May, that is the eve of Hari Raya, she came back from work. We had dinner. We had a very nice dinner. We were chatting and we were discussing what to do as a family for the next day's holiday. And right after dinner at about 8 plus, she suddenly told me that she can't hear anything and there were a lot of humming in her right ear. Right, I brought her down to the A&E at Maui, but the doctor sent us back without further assistance. Yeah. So on the 13th morning, 5:30 a.m., she woke me up. She says she can't take it. The noise is the humming is too disturbing, and the whole world is turning. Apparently, now I know she's suffering from vertigo. So I summoned and she started to puke, nauseous. So I summoned the ambulance and she was sent to the Ng Teng Fong Hospital. And they diagnosed her as having hearing loss. All right. I asked for the cause of the hearing loss. It says normally such hearing loss is caused if the person has a history of, say, for example, infection or through a bout of fever or some underlying condition. But she has none of those that the doctor mentioned. Yeah. She was hospitalized for 3 days, steroid. And thereafter, while she recovered, in terms of the vertigo, she recovered, but not her hearing. In fact, her nerves are permanently lost, and she has a permanent deafness on the right ear. Right, and now tinnitus is disturbing her very badly. Yeah, and so much so that she can't sleep in the night. She can't sleep in the night, and we have to seek medical assistance. And then now she's actually seeking psychiatrist treatment. All right, she's having a bout of depression as well because of she's not able to get to sleep. Yeah. So what I want to say is, while I wrote to HSA, and I quote this lady from HSA, Miss Tan. All right, the reply was, I am sorry to hear about your wife's sudden loss of hearing after her first dose of vaccination. Would you let me know who her NTFGH, that's Ng Teng Fong General Hospital consultant in charge is? I will get in touch with the doctor to encourage him or her to submit the report. The keyword now I find very disturbing is encourage. I suppose if there is any kind of a possible injury due to the vaccination, that HSA should conduct thorough investigation, because in the first place, we were promised that the vaccination is safe. And the only side effect that we will get is probably some numbness, headache, and so on and so forth, which we will recover by the next day. All right, now that something really did happen, I would expect them to take the initiative to get the report and conduct an investigation. But unfortunately, the reply to me tells me that it's not mandatory. And the follow-up reply from HSA, I quote, "You may want to ask your SGH-ENT," because I told her that I'll be sending my wife for a second opinion at SGH. "You may want to ask the SGH-ENT doctor to submit an ADR report to HSA when your wife consults the doctor." Meaning to say that the first doctor just refuses to write the report. Thereafter, I don't hear from them. That's it. Case is closed, I presume. All right. And I felt betrayed by the trust we have in the government. It promises that this vaccination is safe. Right? Although I cannot be certain that it is definitely due to the vaccination. I did some research myself, and apparently there were some cases reported, similar cases reported of from other victims globally who have suffered loss of hearing after the jab, Pfizer or Moderna. But the number is so small, it is not being classified within the framework of so-called mild reaction. Yeah. So as of today, medical cost is building up, right? Beside the point, the thing is, my wife is experiencing depression. She's still undergoing psychiatric treatment. Yeah, she needs antidepressant to sleep every night, to help her to sleep every night. Right? I don't get any help from the government. I don't get any advice from the government. And yet, she was told that from tomorrow onwards, if she wants to if she wants to go back to work, she will have to pay for her own ART test twice a week because she's not fully vaccinated. My question is it fair to discriminate her? We trusted the vaccine. We trusted the program that the vaccine is safe. We took it. Something happened. We don't get any assistance. Nobody is looking into the case. Nobody is doing any form of investigation. And yet we were discriminated. I take it as a form of discrimination. Right? Because my wife felt that she has become a burden to the family because all of us are vaccinated. Right? We can go for a nice family dinner, but not her. But because of her, we have to eat in. Everybody has to eat in. So it has given the family tremendous pressure, emotionally, financially, yeah. And not a word from HSA, not a word further from MOH. Right? So I like to bring to the attention. I do not know whether there is any other similar occurrences within the community. Yeah. But mine is a real story. It's not a make-up story. My HSA report are all here. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, David. I know
Thank you, Iris.
Thanks for sharing with us. I know it's a very difficult time, and we wish that the authorities can do more, definitely, for the victims and those who have suffered injuries. And that's the reason why we are doing this.
Basically, we are not looking for the financial compensation. All right. What I'm asking for is some clarity, some transparency. What actually happened? I think we deserve to know.
Yes.
Is it really due to the vaccine? Yes or no, there must be some form of investigation to put a conclusion, to have some conclusion.
Because the timing of when our wife got the hearing thing is very near to when she...
There are just too many coincidences, just too many of underlying condition, as what they say.
Yes. So so David, our heart goes to you and your wife. We hope that she will get better soon. And if there are other people who have experienced this, feel free to also reach out to us. You can go to report, and maybe the victims with the similar symptoms can band together and see what are the effective treatments, because we also sometimes do not know what else is there to do, you know. So thank you so much for sharing, David.
Thank you for having me.